Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. It's not too bad a day out today. It has cooled off a little since the weekend. And I'll show you what we're going to do today. One of the trees that needs repotting is my native red maple here. It was growing in the front garden and I always meant to dig it up as a bonsai and I forgot about it and it got to be a really tall tree. So I cut the top off and I'm regrowing a branch structure. But it's in desperate need of a new pot and root pruning. Here's a shot of the terracotta pot that's just all broken away from the winter freezing. And you can also see the roots that are growing out of the soil there. So I imagine it's extremely root bound. It's been growing, I think, for 2 years in this training pot. So it should have, it should have filled up with the roots, all this soil here. And I'm going to have to repot it. I'll have to find or build a training box to hold the root base and give it a good root pruning, get rid of all these thick roots and maybe try and get the root base a little smaller. I've also been clearing the spot where the new greenhouse will go. I'll come over and show you what I've done so far. My old greenhouse is over here and in this area I'm going to build the new greenhouse and I've decided to just use half the hoops, so I'll have a wall at the back, a north facing wall, and then all the hoops will curve around to the south. So it'll be like half a hoop house. I had to clear away a lot of dogwood bushes that were here, and I still have the stump of a walnut tree there. I really like that tree, but it's just in the way it has to go. I'll try and grow another one out front in that style. I grew that tree quite tall and cut it off, let it grow again and cut it, so it's kind of been a clip and grow project. And it looks really interesting, but it's right in the middle of where my greenhouse has to go, so I'll have to clear that out also. So that's where it's going to go. So the wall will be kind of where that, on this side of the walnut tree, going up, and then the greenhouse will curve down towards the fence, and that'll get the south-facing light, and it should be quite nice. Today it's repotting time for my red maple here in the bonsai zone. So where the terracotta pot is broken away, I can kind of see a preview of what the roots look like in the soil here. And I can see a mat going around the outside of the pot here. So it's fairly root bound. I have to decide what kind of pot I'm going to put it in. It'll just be a training pot, so I can build like a custom wooden box for it to go in, a shallow wooden box. Or it could go in one of those nursery trays. I do have another possibility, and that's this mica pot. It's kind of deep, but I don't think the size is too bad. I think that would work. I think it's big enough. The roots will have to be reduced quite a bit to get it in here, but let me think about it some more. It's the next day now, and the weather's turned a little colder today. It's actually snowing. I was thinking about that pot for the maple, the square mica pot, and I looked online and to see what a maple tree looks like in one of those traditional rectangular pots. I didn't see any I liked. I can't plant it in that. It just doesn't look right. So I went searching for a pot yesterday and I found a training pot that I think will work. I went to the farm supply store and I found a feed or a water pan. It's made in Canada, Hydro H2O R or something. Hydra2or.com. Made in Canada. So yeah, it's a good tough plastic pot. Has a bit of a lip on the bottom. So I can drill holes in the bottom. It'll have good drainage. And it's a good size for the tree. If I compare it to the old round pot, you can see it's pretty close in diameter. It's a little deeper, but that's okay. And I think it'll look a lot better in that round pot than in this kind of mica square pot. Maple trees they need smooth lines on the pot. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to drill holes in this pot and planted in there. But I'm not going to plant it today because two reasons. It's snowing today. You can see the snow on the moss of the maple. And our tree group, our Stewards of the Forest, our Edible Forest and Community Gardens group, is going on a field trip today to Guelph, Ontario, and we are going to be pruning fruit trees. So I'm going to have to get the warm weather gear on and head out pretty soon. And I'm going to take the camera along just in case, you know, we do some interesting pruning to these fruit trees, and you can kind of it's kind of a practical side to bonsai, is that you learn to prune trees and their structure in miniature, and then you can apply those same principles to a full-size fruit tree. So, you know, if you can prune a bonsai tree to a nice structure, you can also prune a fruit tree. It's just a larger tree you're dealing with, but all the same principles, and yeah. So I'm gonna head out soon, and we'll meet at the greenhouse and head out to Guelph, Ontario. I'm at the greenhouse where the Stewards of the Forest meet. I'll show you some of the trees that I've been planting, some of the seedlings. Down here in the corner is where all the vegetables get started. There's grapevines there, there's rhubarb, strawberries, herbs, there's sage, I think, and everything. And then over here are the trees that we started. I think these are 2 weeks old now. So there's cherry plums. There's a whole bunch of those. They all came up really nicely. There's can I say this? Persimmon. That maybe coming up now. There's pawpaw trees. More plums, cherry plums. Apple trees down here. Mulberry trees. I planted Kentucky coffee trees here, and we have more seeds that are soaking in here. Be planting more of those. So yeah, so things are happening, and this is where it all starts. Little seedlings and cuttings and all kinds of cool stuff. You might notice it's a little smoky in the greenhouse today, and that's because they're smoking something for a community meal tonight. You can see over here all the stuff growing on the growing beds also. I think there's all kinds. There's bachelor buttons, poppies, lettuce, all kinds of lettuce, more lettuce. Yeah, so everything you need for a community garden starts here. Here we are heading out on our big road trip to Guelph. We're here at the community gardens in Guelph, and Lisa, our tour guide, is taking us around the plot, showing us all the trees, the gardens, the shed, and everything around the area. It was probably the worst weather you can imagine. It was just around freezing, and it was in between rain and sleet and snow. Really windy and just cold like you wouldn't believe.
You're eating the green.
The sign welcomed us to the Two Rivers neighborhood Huron Street Garden.
They're all sort of perennial gardens.
Behind the shed was their rainwater collection system and a structure to grow their grapevines on. Lisa showed us the berms that they had on the slope part of the property where a lot of the fruit trees are planted.
Wood. And a lot of the little trees, I don't know because they didn't fruit. And I don't know, we have a problem with some kind of vandalism. Like somebody, I think in the neighborhood, doesn't want the trees to grow up really tall and comes and breaks the branches. Like, I mean, so part of, like, sometimes we're like, oh yeah, it's kids playing, but I don't know, when I go and look, I feel like it's a little too uniform. Like someone's actually gone and did all that.
We headed down the berm and checked out some of the damaged trees.
And then it also happens. That was supposed to be a cob turtle, and it started getting built, and then I guess
What is that?
So cob is like clay, and you mix it with straw on that, and that's the structure, and then they were going to build on top and make it into something for kids to play on and stuff.
Okay.
Honestly, I think we're going to take it down. Yeah.
It was
Okay.
built when I was here.
Yeah, on it and in it. Apparently. Might be a good idea for a sweat lodge, something like this. On our First Nations garden. Interesting construction.
Maybe just the structure so they can put a height or something. Yeah.
I think something like that would be great. A little bigger, but
Yeah.
Okay. So I think
This is another
this
one.
is another quince because they look pear-like, but they were really hard. I didn't try eating them, and then when I came back, they were all gone. So.
I think these were hazelnuts.
Okay.
And then this is a pear here.
Yeah. And like last summer, you can sort of see the gooseberries. They all got the tops snapped back. I mean, on the one hand, like, okay, it's keeping them small, but maybe you could talk to me and we could come up with a strategy instead of just randomly breaking things.
okay. I'm inside the shed now. This is where you keep all the tools and the wheelbarrow and watering cans and pruners. Huron Street Community Garden in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. Videoing on probably one of the nastiest days of spring. It's kind of sleeting out and snowing. Really beautiful garden. I can see in the summertime this would just be beautiful with all the shade of the trees and all the raspberries here and all the nice pathways. Yeah, quite something to see. This garden's built on an old quarry, so there's very little fertile ground or land or soil here. It's a real challenge to get this community garden going and to, you know, produce fruit and berries and vegetables. After the tour, it was time to get to work and warm our bodies up. Yeah, this one should be taken off on the inside here. I don't know if I can do it with this. I'll try, but if I do it in sections, I might. It's coming. There we go. That's a big branch. That helps a lot. Okay. Now we can do some real pruning, John.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Who said you needed a chainsaw, right?
I might need the loppers for that one, John. I'll trade the saw for loppers. How's it going?
We're moving. We're having a very
we're doing great. This is
educational
fun.
one. I'm learning lots. They're explaining. They have to explain what they've learned to teach me.
Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to try?
I don't know.
Ryan, I did the
this
best
is
I could on that tree.
cherry?
Its structure is just flawed.
That's what.
It's so bad that I've done as much as I can do to this session, and then it needs to be come in and
Same with
regularly
this one.
pruned.
We were trying to decide, like all of these come off at horrible angles.
Yeah.
But if we take those off, we've lost the tree.
There's no tree left.
So
Well, same with us. There's some horrible branches on that one, but we've got the height down, got some layering, and
it looks great.
it's
The more and more I'm pruning other people's trees, you just make the best of a bad situation.
exactly.
So
Yeah, that's the important why you need to manage the tree right from young.
yeah,
You get that structure in it, and it just builds.
this is a good lesson for that.
Yes, it is.
I agree.
And
And
tree
then
well young.
Do you want the saw magic?
I mean, this is better.
I can't reach it really.
Oh yeah, I know. That's what I found. I had to climb the tree, and I was out.
Yeah, we could have brought a ladder for sure.
Look at Shelly go here.
Oh, she is.
She's using all her northern experience.
Lumberjack Shelley. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Remember to yell timber when it's.
we were discussing.
Here's a shot of all the branches that we've pruned off. Quite a pile. So we're still working away at the fruit trees, trying to clean up the structure the best we can. And they're looking good. They're looking more compact. We're trying to get the height of the trees lower so you can reach all the fruit from the ground and just stop them growing to great big giant trees that you know, you just can't get to the fruit at all. A lot of the trees, like this ornamental crabapple tree, we just kind of worked with the structure the best we can. These trees ideally should be managed from a very young tree, create that structure just like a bonsai tree, and just keep refining it as it gets older. So we're working with what we have, and you know, you can't do everything at once, but over the years I could see these trees being turned into something quite nice. So the crew's down here working away at the little fruit trees on the berm here. I mean, they're all looking good, just getting that basic structure to the trees. Here's Neil pruning away the dogwood, just bringing it down in height and getting it to look, this is an ornamental, so it's just got to look pretty. Now we're just cleaning up now. We've got to head out fairly soon. How's it going, Shelly? Good, it's looking good. Yeah, cleaned out all the deadwood there. Wow. Yeah, it looks really good. I can notice a difference now. It looks very better. It looks managed and more like a garden, not a wild plot of land. An abandoned plot of land or something. Yeah, he's just doing a profile pruning to keep them kind of lower. All right. Yeah, so this garden is right in the middle of a city, and there's going to be a big apartment complex going up there. Hopefully there'll be some gardeners in there. Not the nicest day, but I've warmed up really nicely doing all this pruning work and climbing trees, and yeah, just fantastic. I'm back from the Guelph trip, and the unofficial name of our team is the Dream Team because we dream a lot. But when you see all the volunteers of all ages working really hard on one of the worst days of the year, weather-wise, I think we've got the right team to turn the dream into reality. The pot on the maple tree here is too broken. I can't lift it up. I think it'll just fall apart. So I'll have to get the tree out of the pot right here on this bench and then maybe lift it over to my work area. I'm going to do that in part 2 of this video. I don't want to rush repotting this tree. I want to show you all the details. So that's it for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for watching in the Bonsai Zone.